back with another one, Real Talk with Mo. I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this video. It caught my eye. I was reading it, I was listening to it. I've heard it before. I just wanted to react to it because this is what I'm talking about when we go down these paths about not being honest, and just kind of just maneuvering the truth a little bit just to get your side or your point across, and you kind of pull that side in with it. And a lot of people do it, man, and it really annoys me. So this is with Joe Rogan. He's talking to Krystal, and Sager. I forgot his name. They was on the Hill. Now they ain't there no more. They got their own show or something like that. So, but this was about, she just went on a rant where they got something talking about Amazon warehouse workers, and I read the article just so I could know exactly what she was talking about. Because when she said it, it just all sounded real weird.
Money. I mean, we just abandon every value other than profit maximization and the bottom line. And
that's what people need to understand about all this woke shit. Yes. It's really not about changing culture.
Yeah, it's about money. I mean,
it's about power.
I was just looking, it's funny. There's a big article in the New York Times today about inside an Amazon warehouse, right? And Amazon was the first to say Black Lives Matter and put that banner up on their page and everything. And look, I support a lot of goals of that movement. But you read through this article and you find out, first of all, the way they treat their largely black and brown warehouse workers, I mean, it's despicable.
When she says this stuff, bro, I don't take nothing. I take everything with a grain of salt, right? And when people are saying this and that, or this is the way people feel about them, I don't know if I said this earlier, but like, subscribe, share, comment, all that. Real Talk with Mo, WWICB Lifestyle Apparel. But anyways, just to re-say it again. But yeah, so I take this with a grain of salt, man, because I'm in the workforce. These people don't be working. Right, I'm out in the field. I'm out. I see people working. I know how some people work. I know how people think. Right. So I always take it with a grain of salt.
They intentionally make sure they cannot move up the ladder. Right. That's part of their business policies.
Listen, if you go into a job like this and you talking about moving up the ladder, you got to know where the ladder is. With any job, you don't go to no job. If you go to McDonald's and you say you're gonna build your way up, you got to know what the ladder looks like. This is just advice. If you go somewhere that doesn't have a ladder, or the ladder stops at a certain point, then don't work there. Most people don't think about that. They always talk about this ladder shit moving up. People ain't always thinking about that. People trying to just get paid for the moment. People are not thinking about this ladder and you can't move up. It's just certain people find out about it and then they start pushing about it. Then they start trying to get people behind them, and then they start trying to cause a ruckus.
If you're an hourly worker, you're not going to get promoted, and they try to force you out after 3 years because they think you're getting lazy. So this is the company that can, on the surface level, say Black Lives Matter because they think that's good for their profit maximization and their brand and their shareholder value. At the same time, what they're actually doing in real life, wildly different than that. So,
and they specifically target black and brown people?
Well, they target their warehouse worker.
See, Joe Rogan is good about this. Sometimes he's gonna question that shit, like, really? Like, this is facts? Because they don't have nothing to back it up. She's just gonna ramble.
So the warehouse workers are 50-some% black and brown. Management is 50-some is
She had a guy loop in black and brown all the time.
Overwhelmingly white in Asian.
I thought the whole thing about Amazon was that you could move up the ladder.
Nope. Walmart.
But see, this is the thing that they do a lot of. Amazon, you can franchise Amazon. Most of these delivery truck drivers are somebody that bought, a franchise where they're doing the deliveries. I've looked into it a lot. You just need the capital, and you can buy a certain amount of trucks. They give that to you. They give you the routes. You just got to hire the people and run the trucks. So sometimes you got to look. Sometimes they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I'm also not a fan of. They actually promote from within. So most Walmart managers start out as hourly employees. So at least they have a track up. And again, I'm not a fan of Walmart, okay? Amazon intentionally, and this is what the New York Times revealed, they intentionally have a system because Bezos said he believes that these human beings are lazy. And
see, and I read the article because of that situation, because what she just said, right? Because I knew Jeff Bezos, the smart guy that he is, he probably read some books. And this is what I told you before, right? This is a perfect example. Like Brian Tracy said, that's a human characteristic is we are inherently lazy. And that's exactly what he said when the guy repeated what he said. And that's the truth, right? We're lazy, greedy, selfish, ignorant, vain, right? Five is only five, but there's 6 characteristics. And that's just what we are. We want to do less. And exactly what he says in the article too, that we want to do less and get more. We want to do less activity and get more. That's just the way we are. That's why we like buy one, get one freeze. That's why we like, if I buy two, get one for half off. That's why those deals are always sound enticing to us. Right? We want to do less. That's why we want to do less work, less physical labor, not even be there, make money. That's but we are like that. We are. That's our nature. We want leisure. We want to be able to lay down and relax. Nobody wants to go to work. That's just our nature. But she don't say that. She says it like this to make it look like he's some tyrant on the top of the thing. And she does this a lot too. And I don't like it.
That after, that they're going to do the bare minimum.
Was quoted saying this? Bezos was quoted saying they're lazy?
I'll find
Jamie, if you...
She ain't never going to find the video. She ain't never going to find the article. Right? And I just looked it up quickly. But she ain't going to find it.
Well, I think there's a difference between lazy and having a shitty job.
Like, exactly right.
She's not gonna look it up. She's just she knew she knew she just said some bullshit. She ain't gonna look it up. By the end of the video, she ain't gonna look it up. She ain't even gonna talk about it anymore.
Stand that.
But in your abuse, you're treated like a robot and a cog day in and day out.
Well, when you're in those positions, that's what you kind of doing. If they can get robots to do it, you're gonna be out of there anyways.
Fired, like, if you are a little bit slow on your task, you might get fired by a freaking...
And again, you gotta read the article because they answered this too. They said nobody ever got fired for that. That's not even true.
Like, that's how dehumanizing
let's explain to people who don't understand how it works over there. Does anybody want to explain?
I mean, they work in the right. So they have phones that are on there. Everything's tracking your movements, steps, bathroom breaks as well. So the warehouses are also very large. So let's say you technically have a 20-minute break. It might take you 10 minutes to actually walk to the break room. And
there you go, trying to justify some shit. Here you go. They taking 10 minutes off your break, so really it takes you 5 minutes, 10 minutes to walk to the lunchroom, and they took that 10 minutes, so really you only got 30 minutes, and here we go.
Back, so you actually have like a 2-minute break while you're in there. And the whole thing around Amazon and why everyone should care is because Amazon under the pandemic exploded. Their stock price went up.
Why should I care about this when their stock prices exploded? What does one have to do with the other? Because you just made this whole scenario up. That's half of it's not true, 3/4 is not true, and now I'm supposed to care about it because Jeff Bezos became more rich and Amazon did better and better for its stockholders and did hired more and more people. Now come on, man. That's why him. I don't know if he's really like full conservative. He's kind of iffy. He's kind of like. Some days he sounds like it, and then other days I'm like, I don't think so, bro.
I think 1,000 or so to a couple 3,000. Bezos personally, his wealth increased by $70 billion. Amazon is now the second largest employer in the United States. And this is incredibly important because as more Amazon market adoption happens, they are based...
You know the first largest employer? Not private? You look that up. What's the largest employer in the country?
Going to become the employer of choice. Whatever your grocery store or whatever was in your small town, these are the rural working class Americans. This is their only job. So when you have one company which has all of this overwhelming power over rural working Americans and even suburban Americans, because this is Amazon's strategy. Dayton, Ohio is a good example. Alec McGillis, he wrote a great book on Amazon, shout out to him, talked about how Dayton was like this Silicon Valley of America in the 1900s. Manufacturing, middle-class jobs. Now, Dayton's prized economic value comes from the fact that it's 1 day's drive from 1/3 of the U.S. population. So it's a great place for cardboard. So everybody there is all just involved in creating cardboard and other Amazon infrastructure. So the Amazonification, so to speak, or whatever, of America makes it so that if, let's say 30 years ago, you grew up in your town, you may have to go to Walmart, H-E-B, we're here, I grew up here in Texas, Kroger as well, McDonald's, something like that. Now it's basically like McDonald's, Dairy Queen, and Amazon. And when Amazon is the prime market employer, they are the sole determiner of market conditions increasingly. So it's Walmart and Amazon, which are number 2. And we're talking about millions of people who are now working at this company. So people are like, why do you guys talk so much about Amazon? Because I can see the trends. This company's not going anywhere. Look, props to them. Like, I love Amazon. Like, I order a lot.
See, this is when this conservative side jumps out, but then he starts jumping back to the liberal side. Watch.
Off on Amazon, but increasingly becoming aware of the price of what it takes to do overnight delivery to your house at 4 a.m. in the morning, or increasingly becoming aware of the fact that they are basically on this mission to drive price down as much as possible and squeeze as much out of their workforce. That's
business.
Is where it's trouble. What was the furniture thing that we just covered?
Yeah,
this was crazy.
Well, and did you see their delivery drivers have
Where's that article? Where's that article?
So, like, the demands are so intense, they're having to pee in bottles and shit in bags.
Right. And they admit
shit in bags.
Here we go.
Literally.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
where I draw the line. I don't really care if a guy has to pee in a
Right.
bottle, but if a gal has to pee
Pee
in
in a
like a
bottle.
dog bowl,
That's
I'm like,
bad.
this seems
Yeah,
seems
I mean,
wrong.
and
And this
that's the
happened
thing is,
publicly.
like, I would like to click the button that's like, I'll pay a little bit more if you can promise me no driver.
Bro, that's because people, listen, I've worked in a construction, right? There's times that you had to go in the back of the truck and pee. You didn't have time to stop. You wanted to get your day over with. You wanted to go work. These people don't be they're not in the workplace. That's why it sounds so crazy to them. They're like, oh my God, you gotta pee in a bottle. For men, that's nothing. They ain't making no women pee in no bottle. They be making up shit.
Just shit in a bag in order to get this
Ain't nobody shitting in no bag either. Show me the person that did it. She's full of it. Where's that? She still ain't come with the article.
tomorrow.
We kind of glossed over this thing where you said that Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos
so
said
I got
that
the
people
quote.
are
So
lazy.
here's what the New York Times says. Amazon's founder, Jeff Bezos, did not want hourly workers to stick around for long, viewing a large disgruntled workforce as a threat. This other executive recalled who worked at Amazon but then left. Company data showed that most employers became less eager over time, he said, and Mr. Bezos believed people were inherently lazy. What he would say is that our nature as humans is to expend as little energy as possible.
This is facts. If you don't agree with it or not, it's facts.
Get what we want or need. That was embedded throughout the business, from the ease of instant ordering to the pervasive use of data to get the most out of employees. So guaranteed wage increases stop after 3 years, and Amazon provided incentives for low-skilled employees to leave. So every year they would offer associates thousands of dollars to resign. They made sure that any position, they gave people sort of the illusion.
They're trying to get you out of there. Go do something else. They don't want you stuck in that rat race. What are you talking about? That's good.
Of promotions being available, but then there'd be one promotion available for hundreds of people. And they very seldom hire management
Why are you not talking about the lazy shit?
from within their own ranks. It's like they view us, it's totally class stratified is basically the bottom line. And of course, lower classes in America are disproportionately black and brown. It's not like they're specifically
You're always using that. Always using that.
targeting black and brown people, but you have one class of people that they see that as worthy of doing the grunt work and shitting in the bag, and one class of people that they think of is worthy of like actually
Yeah, they just flip shit and make it.
having the more intellectual jobs and running the place. It's, you know, it's a really abhorrent way of viewing human beings, essentially. And so this is part of the kind of, again, rot of America that I also think is reflected with the John Cena thing, et cetera. It's like, you're certainly more of a capitalist than I am, but you can't have a country where the only freaking value is money. Like,
No.
it's just
Not the value of our country, and that's a lie. This is her and her like perspective on this. That's not what I don't think. Nobody comes to this country and just thinks about money. Or they don't look at it like that.
you see the sickness of people who have all these addictions and are last year was the
They're always gonna have this. This is not something that you're gonna get rid of ever.
worst year on record for overdose deaths. You see the suicide rate spike. I mean, you see people who just feel like they have no meaning and no purpose and no
Purpose is not something that somebody can give. Somebody can't give you purpose. You gotta create purpose for yourself. Nobody can give that to you. Nobody can make that important to you. What are you talking about?
Drowning and no community, and all the life being sucked out of these human beings in these communities. It's just disgusting.